In regards to types of reinforcers, we've already talked about your primary reinforcers. You got that. Those are non-learned, food, water. You also have cranial stimulation. These are things that give the brain reward or give the brain pleasure. Give me some things that will give the brain pleasure. It's a pleasure center. What are things that your brain gets excited about? Sleep. Okay, give me another one. Food. It literally says anything that I do that activates the brain specifically is literally what we call it cranial stimulation. Does that make sense? Anything that I do that stimulates the brain immediately is cranial stimulation. Not everything, because some things is really stimulating the body more than it is the brain. So this will literally be the brain is receiving. So we go to Rebecca's example of sleep. The body and brain receive it simultaneously, so the brain gets the time to rest. So it kind of is that simultaneous thing. Food could be one of those ones we kind of can fight because it's more your body being satisfied. I'm trying to think of other things in regards. Knowledge might be one. The more you gain in regards to if you feel more and more intelligent, the brain gets immediate gratification. It's really doing nothing for the body. Okay? We talked about secondary. We now have token reinforcers. Token reinforcers are literally tangible secondary reinforcers. So you have your secondary reinforcers, which are learned tokens. Your token literally means they are tangible. I can put my hands on it. Now, give me something that is secondary but not token, but something is token and secondary. So first give me something that is secondary but not token. There you go. Someone who tells you good job. That's secondary appraisal. It's a secondary reinforcer. Someone that gives you praise. Versus token would be, what'd you say? Money. So you did a good job and somebody says you really did a good job. That's secondary. Somebody gives you money for doing a good job. That's token. Okay. Secondary is divided into two parts. So you have token and you also have social. Social reinforcers are the praise. It's the good job. It's the you've done well. It's the approval. It's the acceptance. That is your social reinforcer. It is all a learned behavior. At what time or what age do you think this behavior is started to be learned? Big birth, okay. Toddler. What is it signs do you think that show an infant realizes or a toddler realizes? We understand in regards to primary, that is immediate. They cry, they get milk, they're good. What is it and where do they realize secondary reinforcers? How do you know they've realized it? Okay, they're laughing. Literally that whole idea of laughing. What else? What's another emotional show? What is it? Smiling. What else? Y'all sleep? Okay. They show the emotion. They show affection. What's some other things? We've got infants, children, toddlers. How do you know if they know you are happy or sad? What do they do? What do they do? What do they do? Okay, so they literally, the whole idea of movement, they don't know words, but sometimes they'll just do this. Or they'll cry, they'll whine. This is all part of secondary, so what they're trying to see is, depending on mom response, allows me. What happens if they fall? What do? They look at you, and the idea is, which behavior is appropriate during this fall? If mommy laughs, we're gonna laugh too. Mommy screams or does this breath thing, we're gonna cry. Why? Because depending on what mommy gives me in regards to a reinforcer, depends on the behavior. Okay? In the mall, in Walmart, you all have seen this. I always use little Billy because Billy is always around. Little Billy falls out. Now, you've got two separate moms. Mom one does what? Billy's on the floor because Billy didn't get what he wants, and mom does what? Okay, so one pops him in the mouth. That is one mom. And what does Billy do from that point on? Shuts up. Billy doesn't use the same example any longer. He figures I got to find a new resource. And the other mom does what? Sweeps him up and does what? Oh, you want that? Give it here. So what does Billy realize now? However I need to get what I want, I need to act the fool in the store, and mommy's going to get it. So what has Billy actually done to mommy? Trained her. Okay? He constantly conditioned her. So now, mommy thinks she's conditioned Billy, but Billy technically just conditioned mommy. Because he knows mommy doesn't like what? It's technically reversed. Babies and children are brilliant. People don't give them credit. But they realize, I know what irritates mommy. Because I watch mommy's facial expression. Because that's how I know how to respond. And when I act a fool in the store, mommy gets that flustered look of looking like she is embarrassed. So the louder I get, the more mommy gets upset. Mommy wants me to shut up. Mommy's going to shut me up. Now, which way will mommy shut me up is what I have to learn. Does that make sense? So next time you see this in the store, you can either say, this is either going to go good or this is going to go bad. Either we're going to repeat this behavior or we're not. So mommy rewards the behavior. Now Billy is 16. What is Billy doing in the household? He's running it. We don't use the word beat, Leslie. We don't use that word either. Discipline. Yes. Yes. Usually we can tell the child that, how many of you got spankings as a child? Okay. Golly, the whole class. All right, you did it? Oh, darn. Yeah. The spanking thing, yeah, spankings is memorable. Okay? And it's so memorable that your mother has a look that the spanking isn't even needed because you relate this look with the spanking. So in the store, when you decided, oh, Billy fell out, let me try this. You know, it looked like it worked for Billy, let me see if it's going to work for me. And your mom just gave you the look, you related, oh my, it's the look. It comes with the spanking. Let me get up. Little Billy's still acting up because he hasn't related to 2 yet. Does that make sense? That's all this reinforcement and punishment is all about. It's changing behavior based on either what you socially got, token, or a primary reinforcer. Okay? In a relationship, I want somebody to do something. What do we do? What do? We pout. That's one way of getting it. We might say, I'm not saying anything. Now, that could be a reward or it could be a punishment, depending on who you are and in the relationship you are. You might literally say, you know what, I have nothing to say to you. Now, your partner might be like, thank God. Or they might literally be like, talk to me, talk to me. Either way, what else do we do? What do we do? We might ask. I don't know if you're going to get anything. What'd you say, Rebecca? We sure do. We literally say, you know what, until you do what I want, I won't do what you want. How well does that work? Pretty good. Reason why? Because it's a what? It's a primary reinforcer. I can change behavior using all primary reinforcers. What happened if I told my child, you won't be eating today until your room is clean? How fast will that room get clean? It might not get cleaned right away, but eventually, guess what? Those hunger pangs are going to kick in, and the room is going to get clean. No arguing needed. No, nothing needed. It just literally said, when the room gets clean, you eat. If it doesn't get clean, I guess you won't be eating. And walk away. Might take them 6 hours to do it, but eventually hunger pangs will win, and the room will get clean because we take away a primary reinforcer. Got it? All right, let's move to the next part. We talked about punishment already. Now, in regards to punishment, those are rewards. Rewards are great. We are trying to increase behavior. In your examples, when you look for something, always know reinforcers increase behavior. If I am trying to increase the person doing something, I'm going to use a reward. If I want them to stop doing something, is the only time I'm going to use a punishment. Okay? With the punishment, it should be swift and consistent. This is a big problem with parents. Okay? If I'm going to put you on punishment, I must be consistent. I cannot say you can't use the phone for a week and then tomorrow I give you the phone. Because what does that do to me as a child? I know I can get away with it. I know that this is a 24-hour delay. I can wait it out. It's not a big deal. Okay? Swift. Why does it have to be swift? Correct. They forget. What's another? Just use an animal, for instance. How many of you have a dog or have ever had a dog? Now, potty training this dog. If I wait 3 hours after he just pooped on my floor, how relevant is that to that dog? It means nothing to him. It has to be swift. As soon as he completes his job, I complete my job. Does that make sense? The only way punishment works is if it's swift and consistent. Okay, understand that punishment increases aggression. All of you got on punishment before where you had to go upstairs to your room, or you went upstairs to your room after a spanking or something? What happened when you got upstairs? You had a whole lot of stuff to say. And it probably wasn't, I love that woman. I love this. I really love my dad. He's wonderful for that spanking. It was probably more, as soon as I get old, he going into a home. He is never coming out. He lucky I don't have a belt. You have all of these things to say because punishment brings about aggression. It doesn't bring about a happy thought. Okay, so we need to know punishment brings about aggression. Now, in regards to the punishment concept, first one you see is what's called aversive stimulus. Aversive stimulus really means a punishment that causes pain. Aversive stimulus is a punishment that causes pain. A punishment that causes pain. Escape learning is when you learn to give a response to stop the punishment. When you learn to give a response to stop the punishment. Give me an example of something you have learned to do to stop some type of punishment. That's a good one. Sorry. What's another one? Cry. Very good one. Now I see why you didn't get spankings. All right, so sorry, cry. Okay, that didn't work for us either. But escape learning is really why, if it's about to happen, you use every tactic you can to escape it from happening. You start to apologize. You tell why it should be different. Why it's going to be different next time. This is literally escape learning. Avoidance learning is a little bit different. Avoidance learning is when you learn to do something to postpone the punishment. Now, escape learning, I'm in the midst of the punishment and I want it to stop. Avoidance learning, I'm trying to stop it from coming. I'm going to do something to stop it from coming. No, one stops while it's happening. The other one stops it before it comes. And it's not so much you stop it, you just delay it. You postpone it. Yeah, and I'm going to say, if you ever got a spanking, if you really got a really good spanking, you've all done this. Because the belt was coming, your reflex kicked in. And when the belt came, your hand extended. And you just had the best reflexes that day. And you caught it. And you thought, what do I do now? And your parents said, let it go. And you kept thinking, I can't. Okay? And they said, let it go. And you keep thinking, I can't. Are you escaping or are you avoiding? You're actually escaping. You're in the midst of the punishment. Now, how many of you had hid the belt before? Yeah, that didn't work, but I have hid it before, even though he had fallen. Alternatives, that would be avoiding. Literally, avoidance learning is hiding the belt. Grabbing the belt in the midst of the spanking is escape learning. Sorry, these are real. This is real life stuff. If you had a grandmother who used lovely switches from the branch, escape learning is going to get her the smallest switch first. And it's usually avoidance learning. You're going to get the smallest one, she sends you back out. You get a little bit, another one, she sends you back out. You get another one, she sends you back out. Then she braids them all together. And you thought, darn it, my plan has been defeated. Okay? All these are avoidance. Going to the dentist, using Oragel, not to go to the dentist. That literally is avoidance learning. You're learning things to try to postpone the actual pain or the discomfort. Taking a test at the last minute, that's actually avoidance learning. You're delaying it, postponing it to the last minute. Procrastination is literally avoidance learning. Exactly. Laziness brings about avoidance learning. Laziness is a learned behavior. We do not come out lazy because you get away with it. And the minute that I reinforce it, if you're successful, let's just say, for instance, you wrote a paper last minute and it went through, that was your reinforcer. So now your idea is, now I have learned, and people say, I work best at the last minute. You reinforcing the behavior. If you fail it, you'll be like, oh, I can't do this one again. That was your punishment. Does that make sense? So the grade of giving you a good grade was your reinforcer. You'll keep doing it. You fail it, that's your punishment. You'll stop doing it. Make sense? All right. Now, generalization, discrimination, extinction, spontaneous recovery are the same in operant as they were in classical conditioning. Do you remember those principles? Yes, no, no, yes, I have no idea. Yeah. They literally just repeat themselves. So literally when we talk about generalization, what is generalization? Like, Presley's gonna have to give me more than using a word. So there we go. Generalizing literally means I take one theory and put it over the whole concept. Discrimination. So stop first. Give me an example of generalization in regards to a reinforcement. And the class goes silent. Is this the thinking or this is the avoidance? It's avoidance. I know. And let me tell you let me show you another avoidance learning you guys do. We know the answer. We don't know the answer. This is avoidance. Like, she doesn't see me. She won't see me. Give me an example of generalization in regards to operant conditioning. If we were talking about punishment. Generalization in regards to operant. Yes, ma'am. You can say that. That would be generalization. If you just be like, oh, I just hate all punishments. Well, technically you probably would. But that would be a one. Give me another one for reinforcement. Generalization for reinforcement. Okay. Yes. Discrimination. What discrimination means? Yeah, you should. Let's see. Yeah. Such growth in silence. You want to first tell me what discrimination is? Very good. Now give me an example in regards to reinforcers. Let's see. Hmm. What kind? Hmm. But now I want you to put it with discrimination. Now make it into discrimination. You was on a roll, but you just fell off the bus. You was on the bus riding all the way, and then you just got off, and you rolled off. Help her out. She's on. She's saying it. We're taking away the dishes. No, you mixing all that stuff up now. No, Rebecca, you really off the bus. Somebody get on this bus. We're getting better. But we're on a reinforcer. Y'all keep throwing in. You really like punishment. Y'all really like punishment. Now flip that in regards to the person that is giving the reinforcer. Just a second. There you go. So literally, if I know he likes praise, he likes money, he likes gifts, but I know money is the one that he really likes, that's discriminate. I'm gonna give him money. I could give him praise, it works. I could give him gifts, that works, but he really likes money. Generalization is just a broad statement. So literally, if we just said, I like, we go back to the person saying, I just like cookies. You give me cookies, I'll do it. That's generalization. I don't like all cookies, but that's just generalization. What they're saying, if someone said, well, how can I make you do it? Just give me some cookies. Well, technically, it's not all cookies, but that would be a generalization statement. Versus discrimination, we use everything. It's literally saying, I like rewards, I like gifts, but if you give me money, that's when you're really going to get a response. Does that make sense? We're good? Extinction. We should all have this one. There you go. It no longer, you give a reward and it just doesn't mean anything. When might this happen? Extinction literally means it goes away. It doesn't give you any type of response any longer. So when can a reward become extinct? There you go. Perfect. I've gotten it so much it means nothing. Okay. Spontaneous recovery. It brings back. So all of a sudden my mom gives me cookies and I laugh like, oh my gosh, she gave me cookies today. It's the one kind I really like. Make sense? Now, shaping. Shaping literally means the person uses reinforcements to shape you into what they want. That's all it means. Shaping. A person uses reinforcements to shape you into the person or to the behavior that they want. Your parents have all shaped you. They use punishment and reward to make you into the person they wanted you to be. They would never say so. They would all say that you were your individual, you just came about. They're lying. They shaped you. Everybody's heard the statement, train up a child in the way that they should go. That's what that is. We're shaping you. We're shaping you to do what we want you to do. Now, in regards to reinforcements, you have different kinds. This is where we get into the reinforcement schedule. Now, I'm first going to tell you the different concepts, then we'll break them down. You'll see where it says continuous. What does continuous mean? All the time. So literally, we give you a reinforcement all the time. Okay? Partial literally means what? We give you a reward sometimes. So continuous, I give you the reward all the time. Partial, I give you the reward sometimes. Fixed means same. Okay? Fixed means same. If it is fixed, it means same. If it is variable, it means change. Fixed, same, variable, change. Fixed, same, variable, change. If it's what? If it's continuous and it's fixed, it means every time you do it, I'm going to give you a cookie. But wait, it's a little bit different. Ratio versus interval. Ratio is the number of behaviors. Interval is time. Anything on a clock. Ratio is number of behaviors. Interval is time, anything on a clock. Seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks. Those are intervals. Ratio is the number of behavior. So I'm going to have a fixed ratio and a fixed interval. I'm going to have a variable ratio and a variable interval. If I've got a fixed ratio, it's the same number of behaviors. So let's go back to the cookie. Give me an example of a fixed ratio. What'd you say? Every time you do the dishes, I give you a cookie. It's the same, and I'm counting behaviors. Now make the cookie a fixed interval. Take away if you do it, it's just literally at 6 o'clock every day I'll give you a cookie. Does that make sense? When I put it with the clock, it's an interval. When I do it with behaviors, it's a ratio. I might say, little, you get paid every 2 weeks. That's a fixed interval. I'll check your work every 90 days. Fixed interval. Class starts at 11 o'clock. Fixed interval. It's the same all the time. If I'm doing intervals, if I just literally said, because I can even do a fixed interval with punishment. It's fixed. At 6 o'clock, this is going to happen. On Tuesdays, this is going to happen. On Fridays, this is going to happen. In 90 days, this is going to happen. Yearly, you go to the doctor yearly. That's a what? Fixed interval. Every year I go to the doctor. Does that make sense? What makes a ratio? As soon as you put the year in it, you take it back to an interval. Every time I get a pain, I go to the doctor. Because now I looked at behavior. Does that make sense? Variable means it changes. Variable ratio. You ever had the mother say, if I count to 3, you're in trouble? That's a what? It's a fixed ratio. Now, if your mother never told you how many times she was going to count, she just popped you, that was a variable ratio. You didn't know when it was coming. See the difference? Which one's going to be successful? Billy, if I call you 3 times, you're going to get it. Billy, what's Billy going to keep doing? Keep doing it. Billy, we on 2. What's Billy going to do? Probably keep doing it. Because Billy know I got one more time before she gets me. I love the parents to say 1, 2, 2.5. Billy thinking, well, really, I really don't know when she's going to get to 3. 2 3/4, I got a while to go. Compared to the mom that says, if I call your name one time, we're going to have a problem. You're going to get a different response. Does that make sense? So your ratios, I'm looking at behaviors. Variable means it can come out the box. I really don't know what's going to happen. Okay? And then interval, number of behaviors on a clock. Just always remember, anything on a clock represents an interval. All right, so I'm going to throw out some different ones and you tell me. I get flowers every Tuesday. What is it? Fixed interval. When you play baseball, sometimes you might strike out. We got doubt. It's variable. What is it? Thank you. Speak with confidence. Variable ratio. Why is it a variable ratio? It can change. All right. Every once in a while, I eat dinner. Variable ratio. Every once in a while, I eat dinner at 6 o'clock. Variable interval. Now you got it? Because you know it's on the final exam and your test. You're good, right? We got when I say every time I say test, it's always like before you're like, yeah, got it. Do you have it? Comfortable. Good. I hope so. And keep moving. Go all the way because everything else is just kind of breaking the variable ratio intervals down. So go all the way down to operant, Conditioning on the brain. No, dopamine. What is dopamine? It's a form of a what? What is it freaking called, Presley? Dopamine is a, thank you. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. And what it does, it helps you organize behavior and achieve your goals. If you have a low dopamine production, you are usually unorganized and unmotivated. Higher the dopamine, the more organized you are, and the more you will reach your goals. Operant conditioning actually helps adjust your dopamine levels. Operant conditioning actually helps your dopamine levels. All right, your classical versus operant, you've got this. You know your classical conditioning has your 4 components. What's your 4 components? Which stands for? Unconditioned stimulus creates a what? Unconditioned stimulus creates a unconditioned response. The unconditioned stimulus is replaced with a conditioned stimulus, which creates a, personally, seriously. All right. Reinforcers do what to behavior? Increase it. Punishment does what to behavior? Positive means I do what? Negative means I? Now, move all the way to cognitive learning. We have done operant. You're finished with operant. You're finished with classical. You are now on cognitive learning. What does cognitive learning mean? What type of processing? Mental processing. This is done by Tolman and his rats. Tolman and his rats. Cognitive learning is also called latent learning. Cognitive learning is also called latent learning. Now, Tolman had 3 sets of rats. He put them in 3 different groups. And what he did with these rats, he actually had the first rat got a treat after every time they finished the maze. Every time the rat finished the maze, they got a treat. The second rat actually got a treat never. Literally never did they receive a treat. They finished the maze, nothing. Finished the maze, nothing. The third one actually got a treat after the 10th time they would finish the maze. So every 10, they got a treat. So your first group got a treat after every maze. Your second group never got a treat. Your third group got a treat after every 10th trial. Who do you think had the best results in regards to remembering the maze? First, second, or third? Why are we going first? Who's saying first? Why are we saying first? Remember it better. Okay. And who says second? Who says third? Second never got a treat. Okay. Okay. So first you're saying because they got it every time. Third says because you worked harder because you never knew. You are correct on third. First, what happens with first? If I always give you a reward, what happens to you eventually? You lose incentive. You use your desire because it's just like it's always going to be, I don't care anymore. Versus the third, what starts to happen? You never know when your reward is coming, so you work a little bit harder to do it. It's the same concept with latent learning. You sometimes work very hard because you never really know when your reward is going to come. Some things you do you just do good things, and you do it and you say sometimes, what do you say after you do something good? Some, you just did something really good for somebody. They can't do anything for you. You'll literally say, later in the life, I'll get it sometime. I'll get it back. I'm not even worried about it. That's latent learning. A little bit more. How many of you live by yourself currently? Only 2? I mean, like, with some, you don't live with your parents. Let's say that. How many of you no longer live with your parents? Okay, not a lot of you. All right. If you live with your parents and you grew up with your parents, we all literally started there at one point. When you left a room, you're 5 years old, you just walked out of your bedroom. What did you leave on? The lights. And what did your mom say? Turn those lights off. You're in the refrigerator. What are you doing? You're about 9, 10 now. Staring. What are you looking for? Some food. How long is the refrigerator open? Forever. What does your mom say? Close that door. Now you live by yourself. You walk out of your bedroom. Do you leave that light on? You're probably not turning it off because it's a habit. You're turning it off because Georgia Power just sent you a bill. And you realize it ain't even work. I don't even need light. Matter of fact, the light from outside, the sun does just enough. We could be a little romantic. Let's light some candles. If you got the TV on, what you need the light on for? Okay? You're literally thinking, what do I need in this refrigerator before I open it? All right. When did you learn this technically? When you were young, you learned it, but you didn't use it to the reward benefited you. That's latent learning. You did not use it to the reward was a benefit for you. Until it had something for you, you didn't use it. There's things in life you literally say, finally, I get it. Now I know why they said don't do this. Okay? Speeding, getting a ticket. Perfect example, 985. 985 has the city police, the county police, the state police, the highway police. I think they got 9 different police on 985. Now, if you've never traveled 985, the first time you do it, you're like, oh my God, all these police. Second time you do it, like, oh, they're still out here. Third time you do it, you get a ticket. What do you start to do when you get to 985? You slow down. You might not even slow down until you get to a certain part in 985. Now, you've seen all these police officers for 3 years, but not until you got the ticket did you really say, okay, now I get it. Now I see why people slow down right here. I'll tell you the exit. What's the friendship? Is the exit 12 or something like that? Is that the 8? Okay, the 8 exit. Police are always there certain times of the day all the time. So right around, just when people get about 30 feet from it, everybody just starts to slow down until they pass the exit, then they speed up. So if you don't know this, you're like, why are they doing this? You just slow down with them and speed up. Latent learning, eventually when you realize it, you use it. If you have children, some things that your mom did when you were younger, you are now doing with your child and you think, now I get why she did it. Does that make sense? Yes. I am 40 and my brother's 36. I still use techniques that my mother used when we were 12 on my brother at 36. Okay? Latent learning. Does that make sense? Good. Now, you've gotten mastered latent learning. It is cognitive learning. Cognitive learning also comes with what is called insight learning, the aha moment. Cognitive learning is insight learning. It's when you finally get it. It will happen, hopefully, in psychology. It might be after you leave. You might finish the class, sit, watch TV, they say something, you like, aha, I get it. Like, oh my God, it makes sense. Yes, when she's like, oh my God, I get it. That is cognitive learning. It's the aha moment. Okay? Yesterday I was watching, my boyfriend started watching Devil's Advocate. Haven't seen Devil's Advocate probably in maybe 10 years. I'm watching the movie and he literally tells the person, he says, starts talking about insight, he's talking about instinct, he's talking about all these things that are based out of psychology, and we're both sitting there like, oh my God, and we're laughing because he's a social worker, I'm a psychologist, and we're laughing because we get it. And I sat there and I thought, how many people have no clue what he is talking about right now because they don't understand psychology? Once you get it, you just get a different insight. Does that make sense? You would ask, who watch Criminal Minds, Law and Order, CIS, NCIS, all of them shows. Okay. Once you get concepts, you'll start watching it like, now I get it. You will start figuring things out. It's that moment. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, the last type of learning. So you've learned classical conditioning. You now know operant conditioning. You also know cognitive learning. This is the last learning you need to know, which is called observational learning. Observational learning. Observational learning has a couple of names. It's also called modeling and social learning theory. Observational learning is called modeling and social learning theory. Modeling, social learning theory, all called observational learning. Founded by Albert Bandura. Bandura is over social learning, observational learning, and modeling. What Bandura literally used what is called a device called Bobo. Bobo was a punching bag. It had the salt base, and everybody said you blow it up, you punch it, it bounces back. Blow it up, punch it, and bounce it back. Well, what Bandura did was he actually took some children, had them watch violent movies, violent commercials, violent TV shows. He then had them also watch a man play around with relationships in regards to domestic violence and all these things. He then put him in a room with Bobo and told him to have fun. What do you think this child did after watching all these violent shows and all these things? He literally beat it up Bobo. And what he found out is we actually model what we learn. Okay? We model what we learn. That's what this whole theory is about. We model what we see. We observe, and that's how we learn. How many of you know how to cook? How did you learn how to cook? What did she do? She literally just had you in there and she just literally said, grab this, put this here. You started to learn not because she said it takes this to do this. You just watched her and figured it out. As women, everybody stand up for a minute. Pull your seats back far enough to where you can sit. Push it, push it, push it, push it. All right. Ladies, sit down. Ladies, stand up. Ladies, sit down. Ladies, stand up. Men, sit down. Men, stand up. Men, sit down. Everybody sit down. What's the difference in your city? You didn't look? Okay, everybody stand up. Women, turn around and look at a man. Now, men, sit down. Look how he sits. Men, stand up. Turn and look at a woman. Women, sit down. Pay attention how she sits. Now everybody sit down. What's the difference? Okay, adjustment. What's something different? What else? What'd you say, Victor? Closed legs. What else is different? Crossing the legs. What else is different? Women grasp. Okay? Why do women grasp? Okay? What do men do? Where were most of their hands located? Pockets are on the side. Where did we learn this from? Really, your parents taught you how to sit down. How did they learn and do this? Everybody has seen a little girl. What does she do in regards to her mom? Everything she does. I want my purse. It's got lint, Kleenex, and some pennies in it. But I need my purse. Okay? What is the little boy doing in the bathroom? He wants to shave. Why? Because dad shaves. He's outside mowing the grass with the bubble lawnmower. Why? Because daddy's lawnmowing. What is the little girl? I've watched this little girl on the weekend, and she's 4 years old, and Max is the dog. So I think Max has now become her baby. So she says, sit down. Don't get up. Ah, bad, Max. And she's 4, and I realized, oh my goodness, because I tell Max, get down from that couch. Sit down. Stay there. That's not good. And she says everything I have said to Max, she repeats to Max. Max is on the couch. She says, get down off that couch. And I thought, oh, and I call Max. I call Max Maxie. I call him Pooh. I call him all kind of names because he is technically my child, so I have one. So I go, oh, Pooh, oh, Maxie, all these things. So when he does something good, she go, oh, Pooh, oh, Maxie, let me give you a treat. And I realize she's modeling what I do to Max. And she says, let me hold you, Max. Come on, Max. No, Max. And she's just repeating. And if you ever see little girls in the grocery store, they now even have the carts for little kids to push so they can mimic what mommy does. I've also had a therapy session because this is what we do. We do child therapy with children. We start child therapy as early as 2 years old. And we use Bandura's theory at this time. We place babies on a platform, usually Barbie, and we tell this 3-year-old, you can pick any of the Barbies you want and give them names. So what they do is they'll pick it up and they'll say, this is mommy. You're like, okay. This is daddy. Okay. This is me. You go, okay. And they'll name everybody. And you'll say, all right, so what do I do? And they'll say, you be mommy. You go, okay, I'm mommy. And I'm going to be daddy. He goes, okay. And I'm going to be me too. Like, okay. And I'm like, so what does daddy do? And she'll say, just sit there. Okay. And she says, I'm going to be mommy. Is you still sitting there? You should get up and do something. You shuffling. I'm sick and tired of all this mess. Boom. Where do I go? And they'll enact everything that happens in the house without even realizing they're telling you what goes on. Okay? I've even had one little girl that says, oh, and I was like, is that mommy? And she's like, yeah, mommy slapped daddy. I was like, okay. All right. I've even had one that enacted sex scenes. She says to me, go into the bedroom. I was like, okay. Daddy goes in the bedroom. She says, okay, now I'm going to sit on the couch. I'm like, okay, you sit on the couch. Where's the couch? She's like, right here. I said, what are you doing? She said, I'm going to watch TV. I was like, okay. I said, where's mommy? She said, wait, you got to move like this. I said, okay. I said, where's mommy going? She said, go into the bedroom. I said, but daddy's in there. She said, all right. I said, okay. I said, what happened? She said, okay, now mommy and daddy make these noises. I said, and what's the noises? She said, stop it. No. Ooh, ah. I said, well, what's happening? She says, I don't know if mommy's hurting daddy or daddy's hurting mommy. Like, okay, well, who makes the most noises? She said, daddy always be like, stop, honey, don't do that. I said, alrighty then. To her, she has no clue what she's telling me, but she's just modeling what she hears. They even have you see Facebook signs where you have the two kids standing on top of each other, and they say, I don't feel anything yet. And they've got clothes on because they model what they hear. They model what they see. If you ever watch a child watch Batman, watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what happens after they watch this TV show? They want to be them. They're climbing off the couch. They're jumping off the couch. You ever have a 5-year-old watch Spider-Man? What's the first thing they're going to do once it finishes? You've been webbed. Okay, I got you. Okay, they are modeling. This is also why we tell people domestic violence repeats itself. The reason why is once a child watches how to express love, they repeat what they see. Okay, either they will become the person that is the victim, or they will actually become the person that creates the problem. We often even realize in women are not always the victim just because they watch domestic violence. Sometimes they become the person that starts to do the abuse. Right? But we can always go back and see modeling has occurred some type of way in the family. They start to realize this is how love is expressed. Right? And it's all based on your observational learning. Right? No. I just laugh. And I literally sometimes I'll literally say if it's really bad, like I've had one and she was really detailed in regards to what she knew. And I would literally just say, we're going to do a session with your mommy next week. And she would say, okay, because to her, it doesn't mean anything. And she says, okay. And I would literally say, and we're going to do this again. And she'll be like, okay. And then she says, can mommy be herself? And I'll be like, sure, mommy can be herself. And we would enact it because to her, she's 4 years old. She has no clue that what she just said was a problem. So when she comes in, I say, we're going to reenact what your child sees in regards to the house. She says, oh, okay, no problem. Because mommy has no clue that this 4-year-old is so aware of her life. So she says, mommy, you're going to be you. And mommy's like, oh, who am I going to be? And she gives her the Barbie, and mommy says, oh, I'm so pretty. She says, mommy, you're pretty. So mommy's all excited. She enacts the whole thing, and she says, mommy, go into the bedroom. So mommy just moves. She says, no, mommy, you got to do like this. And her mommy goes, her eyes gets big. So she goes, okay. And I tell the mother, you need to just continue on. I need you to make sure. And she says, okay. So she goes in, and she says, what do I do now? She says, okay, mommy, close the door. And her mommy says, okay. She says, now, mommy, I need you to say this. And her mom just, her whole face just looked like total embarrassment. And I just smile at mommy, and I look back down because now she has disclosed it without me creating a confidentiality problem. So those are usually what we have to do to help mommy. No, mommy needs to be a little bit more quiet. Oh, wait till baby is really asleep. Okay, Toys R Us have also shaped you all. All right, everybody has gone to Toys R Us before, yes? Are you serious? You should go this weekend. It's a memorable experience. Uh, it is. Even as an adult, you go to Toys R Us like, oh my God, I remember. Okay? So you haven't been there, so you can't play the game. You haven't got spanked, you can't play. You just out of luck. So we're all on Toys R Us. All of the girls. We're going to the girl department. What's the color? What's there? What else? Barbies. Unicorns. Babies. In the girl department? Yes, the pink truck. The pink Jeep. It's rhinestones on it. Yep. What else is over there? You guys are missing some quality stuff over there. What's up? It's a kitchen set. What else? Easy bakes. What else? Uh-huh. What else is over there? It's the last time you have been there. You haven't been there in a minute. What else? Dress up stuff. Ah, princess stuff. Dress up stuff like what? Uh-huh. Some high heels over there. Makeup over there. Jewelry over there. What did we just shape these little girls to say? What should they be? A mother. Somebody who can cook and clean. Take care of the babies. Be a princess. And always put on some what? Makeup. Go over to the little boys department. Fellas, what's over there? Sandbox? Oh, sandbox. Okay. Nerf guns. What else? Sword. Okay. What else? Tools. What else? Bodybuilder. Yeah. Cars. What else? Football. Baseball. What did we just tell our little boys? Be athletic. Know how to fix something. Know how to cut something down. And you better be able to fight. And Natasha's bringing up another point. Let's turn on a TV. We even say this is a good quality. What should a woman look like? She should have what on? Perfect hair. What else should she have? Makeup. What else should she wear? Okay, she should be small. And some cultures say small. Some cultures say we don't like bones. Everything like bones is a dog. Yeah, them bones hurt. They so do. What else? Yeah, if you go, we'll just use an example. Go down the magazine aisle. The magazines even shape you. So let's go. We were walking down the magazine aisle. What do we see on the magazine aisle? Okay, first thing we need to know, that's in a woman's magazine. So first thing a woman needs to know is how to do what? Please a man. You've been conditioned. What's another thing she needs to know? Here's the cooking ideas. We're still saying cook. What's on the front of her cover? What does she look like? Smiling, happy. She probably is wearing a bikini. What magazine is that? Cosmopolitan. Now, keep going. Next magazine, who's on it? Vogue. What's on the front? She's still what? Model type. Move. Next magazine. Just a couple usually. Change your magazine type. Different culture, different magazine. Pick another magazine. What's on the front? What does she look like though? What's her thighs look like? What's her butt look like? What's her hips look like? What are we telling them? So in this culture, you should have what? Curvy. You should have some thighs, some hips, and a butt. Let's go to the Hispanic magazine. What does she have? What else she got? What's her hips look like? She looks like a perfect Coca-Cola. You just moved her in like this. So what do we tell the Hispanic culture? You can make sure you have what? Curves. Now, we've gone to 3 magazines. You've got 3 different girls looking at this magazine. What have we taught each girl? What should she look like? So what is she working for? Either she's looking to be thin, she's looking to have butt, hips, and thighs. So she's at the gym doing squats and lunges. She's over here trying to get small waist, make sure her boobs are right, and then she's got thick legs. We've just modeled and created this whole idea of observational learning. We do it in everything we do. Does that make sense? Even back from 1960 TV to 2014 TV. Joan Cleaver. Is her name Joan? Joan. Some of y'all don't even know who she is. It's called Leave It to Beaver. She wore a dress. Pearls, long dress, no cleavage, no skin showing other than the bottom of her legs, high heel shoes, and every day her husband came home, she had his paper, his dinner, and she took his briefcase at the door. He went and worked, suit, tie, briefcase. This was every day. Every show this occurred. Fast forward, Desperate Housewives. Real Housewives of any city. What are they doing? Bikinis. You never, probably not even see their husbands. So what have we now shaped our children to see? Girls, get out there, do your own thing. No man needed. If you have a man, he's needed for the purpose of money. We've shaped our world and shaped our children. That's why. TV is the enemy. Even go to Target. What are our little girls wearing now? Our 3-year-olds are now wearing short shorts. We're teaching our girls how to model. We're shaping our girls now to tell them what they should be and who they should be. Does that make sense? That's what you're modeling and shaping. Thing you have to do to shape a person, you have to pay attention. Okay? The person must pay attention. To be shaped, you must pay attention. You must retain an image. You must pay attention. You must retain an image. You must get a visual. You must be able to reproduce the action. You must be able to reproduce the action. This is how I shape you. So in all these things, all these examples we have given you, the first thing you did was you paid attention. You paid attention because you could give me examples. You had a picture in your mind. As we were talking about the magazines, you all got a picture in your mind. Okay, so you paid attention, you got a picture. You also were able to reproduce it. We talked about going to the gym. These individuals know if I keep doing this, I should be able to reproduce this. If I watch this little baby, I should be able to reproduce this. If I use my Easy Bake Oven, I should be able to reproduce this. Does that make sense? And I also have to be motivated. I've got to want the same results. How many of you ever gone to a gym, you sit and watch the lady next to you or the man next to you, and they've got that body that you're like, I'm going to get that. You paid attention, you watched what they did, you reproduced it, and you were motivated to get the result. That's observational learning. Might not get the result, but you keep saying, if I do that, I'm gonna make it. Okay? Observational learning. So, first we have to do what? Pay attention. You have to do what? Pay attention, get a picture, then you have to reproduce it, and then you have to be. That's observational learning. You are done with the learning chapter.